Good morning. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Monday morning. I don't know if that's drizzle out there, but beautiful inside our indoor practice facility for sure. When we started this process, it was incredibly important to find out where we stood as a university and as a football program. And we took the necessary time and steps to determine what our situation was and our needs as well before launching this search. And what shined through were a number of things for me and for all of us involved. Number one, the University of Kansas is fully committed to building a winning program and one that can be sustained for the long term. Number two, we have a passionate and committed support base who are providing us both the resources and the positive energy to get this build right. Number three, and this crystallized over the course of this process, we needed to find a program builder who's had a demonstrated track record in developing successful, sustained football programs. We remained committed to a diligent and thorough national search, and the interest was outstanding. We talked to countless in fact, at times it felt like, exciting candidates who were passionate about being the head football coach at the University of Kansas. And a few things continued to emerge through that. Program builder, man of integrity, developer of young men, fit for the University of Kansas. That all remained at the forefront throughout. Before I tell you about our new leader and invite him to the podium, let me say some words of gratitude to so many that without whom we would not have the opportunity to celebrate this great moment today. Chancellor Girard for his incredible vision and support, as well as the university leadership who with him have demonstrated their sincere commitment to building Kansas football the right way. The outstanding staff in Kansas athletics who've worked tirelessly throughout this search and since the hire on Friday to ensure a successful launch of this new era. Namely our search committee, Nicole Corcoran, David Reed, Mike Vollmer, and Daryl Stuckey. Incredibly grateful to that group. To our former letter winners whose support and feedback helped propel us forward. As we said in a Zoom session with that group yesterday, this is their football program, and they have paved the way for an exciting future. To our incredible donors and support base, fans, season ticket holders, alumni, without their loyalty and financial support, we would not be able to resource this program in the right way, and I can assure you we will do that as we look forward. To our interim head football coach, Emmett Jones, so incredibly grateful for his leadership, his steady hand during this challenging time. He's an exceptional man. He's done so much to keep this team together and to have a really productive spring, as well as the rest of that staff, again, who demonstrated exceptional integrity and professionalism. University of Kansas is forever grateful to that team and to that staff. Finally, to our football student athletes, who again deserve so much credit through this adversity to remain committed to each other, to remain committed to the University of Kansas, and to again have really grown over the course of this spring. They were at the forefront throughout. This process, this search, this outcome has our student athletes front and center, and they will remain front and center as we move forward with Coach. On Friday, we got our guy, the ideal fit, the ideal next leader for Kansas football. One of the winningest head coaches in college football history, a man of great integrity, a program builder, a developer of young men, and a winner. His demonstrated track record of sustained excellence is exactly what we need as we embark on this exciting new chapter. His commitment to maximizing our student athletes' abilities and experience on the field, in the classroom, in the community, and in life after KU is inspiring. And that's going to attract exceptional young men to this program, as we've had in our history, in the development that will occur under his leadership and his staff's leadership will create a winning football program. We've truly enjoyed welcoming his amazing family to Lawrence and to the University of Kansas, Kelly, Lindsay, Landon. We couldn't be more excited to welcome you to the Jayhawk family. It's been a lot of fun these last couple days. So ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce our next leader for Kansas football, Lance Leipold.
Thank you. I got to watch a very little part of the draft this weekend, and I was trying to pace my walk after you see people get critiqued on how fast they walk up to things. So I hope I pass the first part of this. Wow. If words could really express in any way, shape, or form how truly humbled and honored I am to have this opportunity. To stand in front of you today, people ask sometimes what your dream job or where you think you're going. When you're a small town guy in the Midwest that plays Division III football, it's going to be very similar to how we do things here, is that it's a day at a time. Dreams are one thing and reality's another, and somehow those two have meshed here today. I want to thank everyone. I know Travis has done the same. Chancellor Gerard, thank you so much for this opportunity. Travis, your faith in this, and I can't tell you how excited I am to be your head football coach and have the opportunity to build this program simultaneously. People want to ask a lot of things about weird things. I know we'll have the time to answer questions, but the goal is to win championships, pure and simple, one day at a time. Become a consistent winner. Attention to detail. Do it with great energy, passion, and effort. It's not overly complicated, and it's going to take some work. And we started some of those processes now, and we'll continue as soon as we complete this press conference today. I want to thank the people back in Buffalo. President Tripathi, athletic directors, current athletic director Mark Allnut, Alan Green, and the man who gave me a shot to be a FBS head coach in Danny White. I would not be standing here without the great efforts of the players in that program, and I want to thank them. And one of the reasons why making a difficult decision became easier is because of the great leadership and character that's back in Buffalo to continue that success there. I thank the university and the community back in Buffalo for their support and our time there for us to put our vision there and improve things. And much like I've learned a long time ago, is just leave it better than you found it. And I feel as I got on the plane to come to Lawrence, we were able to accomplish that back there. To my family, to my wife, Kelly. As they say, coaches' wives have the fast pass to heaven. And you do. It's been a journey. And a lot of tough times, a lot of tough decisions, a lot of sacrifices. And you've made them. And you had the family together, and I can't thank you enough. And like most opportunities that come, she's the one that's the rock and the advice giver. If you see on her Twitter page, if you follow it, she's the head coach, okay, of the Leipold family. And she knew from the start that this was the place to be. To our children, Lindsay and Landon, the sacrifices you make for our family and continue to do so. I'm so proud of you and who you are what you're going to be, and I love you dearly. As I said, we have a lot to get done. There's a lot of great people that we've met in these early days, and I can't get more excited to get ready to work with all of them. And once again, I'm very proud to be your head football coach. Rock Chalk.
Hey, Coach, this is Jessica with Fox 4 in Kansas City. Just what are your real attainable goals for this season? And then what would you consider a successful season?
Well, good morning, Jessica. Thank you for being here. When people say success, it's going to be daily improvement. What we're going to focus on, again, we want to stay in the moment. Again, I mentioned my wife here, as even went through this process, we're going to talk about with our players and be where your feet are at. And we got to be able to find ways to get better here today. And that'll translate when we continue to go through the daily process of improvement and establishing what we want to be, the wins and losses are going to take care of themselves. This is a unique situation. We all know that. Timing is definitely different than what is the norm. But and as we get ready to work with these young men, those things will start taking place, and I'm very confident that you're going to see consistency and improvement throughout the season.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach, over here.
Okay.
Hey. Benton Smith, Lawrence Journal World. I just want to ask you a little bit about kind of the process of getting this job, and what was kind of your sales pitch to Travis as you were interested in taking over this program?
Sales pitch. Well, I felt this job was, in fact, I had a couple people that I'm close to and things like that. They said, this job fits you. And I felt it on many different levels. I don't know if you sell things in these things. You got to, I don't know if I'm overly flashy in a lot of different ways. I just believe that your work and your production and who you surround yourself with and 30 plus years in this profession kind of builds your daily resume. And I think when you look at it, that those were the things that I think became important. My desire about what we've been able to do, especially at the last stop at Buffalo, was, build a program, sustain winning. I don't know if I never even asked the question where we compare in certain areas, whether it be financially or resources or buildings, and that doesn't matter. We're going to control what we can, but in the Mid-American Conference, when we got to Buffalo, we were probably in the bottom 25% in a lot of areas. But we didn't worry about that. We worried about what we could do, and we were able to do that, and I feel that a lot of those things are going to transfer what we can do here.
Hey, Coach Leipold, this is Gus Bale from the University of Daly, Kansas, and welcome to Lawrence.
Thank you,
just
Gus.
wanted to ask, kind of even going back to your days of Division III, did you always feel that a job like this, did you always have a desire to come to a place like Kansas or any, Power 5 school?
Yeah, I think so, when you go back to Division III days, but, my 3 years, and maybe this will tie part of this in, my 3 years as a graduate assistant at the University of Wisconsin was very defining for me and a great experience. And really, through this process, I had a chance to watch Barry Alvarez's retirement press conference from the University of Wisconsin. And as they were showing things about his career in the early days and where Wisconsin football was at that time and some of the parallels that I felt were right here at the University of Kansas kind of fit into what I felt would be a dream come true. The other thing I would say also is that my real first full-time job was at the University of Nebraska Omaha Division II school. And our first year there, we were 1-10, we were 3-8, and then we were 10-2. And I've said it many times, is that I felt that to be the most rewarding time of my career as a coach up until what we were able to do here recently as a head coach at Buffalo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coach Leipold, John Kirby with Jayhawk Slant and Rivals.com. At Buffalo, you guys developed a lot of players that were, some would say, under-recruited, and you guys made them successful. Just talk about your system and how you guys do that.
Okay. Well, John, it was a pleasure to meet you, and I want to make sure I say it to John, 'cause there's probably others in the crowd. For anybody I have not returned a text or phone call, I would want to make sure I apologize, so as people have reached out. I think we've done an outstanding job through the past. Have been able to surround ourselves with people that are great evaluators and of talent, but find guys that are hungry, find guys that have a high ceiling, and do our research that way. I believe highly in how our practice methods go, that we're able to develop players through repetitions and competition, and of course through off-season development. And those things have been able to pay a lot of dividends for us for guys that maybe others have passed on.
And then one last one from me. You guys, I believe it's 2018, led the conference in passing, and the next year you led it in rushing. How are you able to do that within your system within a year to year?
We've always tried to be as multiple as we can be with a philosophy of striving for balance. People talk about being balanced. I think we've been able to create that in the players we want to recruit, offensive linemen we want to develop. And the biggest thing is that by doing that, we've been able to play to our strengths. And as you said, we're pretty talented at quarterback and outside on the receivers in 18, became a more explosive football team. And then those players left the program, and then we went back to hanging our hat on where our depth and talent was. So we want to find ways, as always, to be as balanced as we can and put the ball in the playmakers' hands.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Lance. Sam Mellinger with the Kansas City Star.
Sam.
I'm just wondering, I know this last few days has probably been a whirlwind, right? But have you had time to sort of research the history of this program, kind of what's held it back, and how much are you going to sort of customize what you do to fit that?
Well, everyone should know a little bit about history, but we can't spend time about what's happened in the past. I think the biggest thing that I've been able to research is that potential and what a great place this is, what a great university this is, what a great community it is, and then look at that. The one thing that stands out just on the surface that is held back is stability, consistency, continuity. And those are the things that we have talked about with Travis through this process. I think as far as the coaching world goes, you look at the lengths of stays or the places I've been or returned to. A lot of those have to be, I'm not a guy that's moved around a lot, and this is the place I want to be for a very, very long time. And I think the people that I work with have a good working environment and want to do the same. And when we are able to do that, when guys are, and we're going to meet with players right after this is over, I get a chance to start that. But when you keep having different people as your position coach and doing things, it makes it tough. And so when you're looking at whether it be consistency at the head coaching position or the assistant coaching position, all those things make success tough to come by, and we're going to change that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach. My name is Mitchell Summers with WIVW in Topeka. Welcome to Lawrence, first of all.
Thank you.
For the athletes that spent the spring buying into another program, you're coming in. What's your sales pitch to these guys that got used to another person?
Keep an open mind. Okay, and one of the things that when I talk to them is, I talked about aspirations. A lot of those young men want to play in the NFL. And I asked them if they get to pick their coach. Okay, change happens in the real world. That's unfortunate. They did not choose for what has happened. But as soon as we get a chance to sit down and find out that we will have their best interests in mind, we will get them to reach their goals. We want to help them get there on and off the field. That is tough to listen. Again, there's been another change. And we're going to take things that have been done here and we're going to use them. We're going to blend them. I don't expect or say that I have every answer. I think one part of leadership is you better make sure you take in as much information you can, give people a voice, and then you make a decision, everyone agrees upon it, and we all move forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coach, I'm Neil Jones from KCTV5 in Kansas City. The transfer portal has changed the world. I mean, and coaches are now having to recruit their own players to get them to stay. How critical is it that you're able to hang on to some of the good young talent that they've brought in the last couple of years?
Extremely important. And as I told them, our plan is to win and win with the players that are here right now. This isn't a situation where we're going to look for when we get our players in. I said the same thing at the last job. And I feel very strongly about that. This university and athletic department has made a commitment to these young men, and we want them here to develop and be part of that. Yeah, it's interesting times right now, and there's a lot that this is going to be new and everybody's going to be sorting through. But again, when you have an outstanding university in a great location, playing in a great conference, we have a lot of things that should keep players here and attract players in the future in recruiting. Thank you.
Hey Lance, Nick Schwartz with KLWN Radio here in Lawrence. It's kind of an unusual time to be making a coaching hire. I know usually this stuff happens a little bit earlier in the off season. Do you view there as being unique advantages or disadvantages in taking over a program at this juncture in the off season?
Unique is a good word, and but it is what it is at the moment. So we're going to make the best of it. Yes, not having a chance to be around spring ball and evaluate in person, but there's going to be some freshness, and I think a lot of players, and when you look at a roster, there's a lot of guys that also want to have a fresh set of eyes on them for opportunity, and again, what it can be is as a staff gets put together, a great opportunity for guys to compete. And when you have internal competition in your program for positions, and they're coming out to show, and there's a little bit extra to that, hopefully it's going to get them to reach their maximum potential and ability sooner. So we'll find ways to definitely make a unique situation a positive.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach, Matt Tate from the Lawrence Journal-World. Welcome to town.
Thank you.
A couple questions for you. The first one, you and Travis have both talked a lot about fit. And I wonder how many conversations with people who had been here have you had, or did you have, or did you just take people at their word that you do fit here? Did you have to kind of research that and find out why people were saying that?
Yes, I had conversations. I had a chance to talk to Coach Mangino. I reached out to Coach Mason. I've known Terry Allen and have connection to him, to people that have been here, and we had some very good talks. And through them and some of those that know me, they told me they thought I was a fit as well. Talked to others in other roles. And fit is a unique word based on a lot of things. And I say fit for us to, when you're happy in a community and you have a chance to dig in and do what you want to do, there's a lot of things to that make it possible. And not just that, the rest of the staff throughout our whole organization that need to be here. And I think I feel very confident that it is that fit.
Just another one. I think Travis was on the job for about 45 minutes before he had to start searching for you. Can you just talk about his experience and what you kind of observed from him going through this whole process?
It's been amazing. Like he said, I think yesterday, or today's your first day on the job, right? Today. I'm sorry. Yeah, first day on the job. I think he went into his office for the first time. We both, unique is the word we were using before. I think same thing for him. But that is one of the things that really attract me to this. First of all, is his enthusiasm, his passion for this university, and he knows that. And for him to come back, you can see that resonate each and every day. And that's at 7 a.m. and that's at like 11 p.m. Okay, because we've spent some long days together here already. And that's important. To be with someone that we're both new and get on the ground floor together and talk through things is very important. I had a chance to mention and thank the athletic directors that I had the great opportunity to work with. But the one part of that, as we talked about with this football program that is very parallel that I can relate to, is that I was on my third full-time athletic director before my fourth season as head coach. And they're all excellent at what they do, but as we know, anytime you're starting to make progress and there's a change, it doesn't necessarily regress, but it pauses. And then you're not keeping it moving. So to partner with someone at the beginning of this was an extra bonus. When this job opened, the athletic director job was not. I was interested. When the athletic director job opened, I was more interested.
Cool. Travis, can I grab you for a quick second too? I mean, first time going through this type of thing for you too, at least at this level and in your current position. Was it everything you thought it would be? How many surprises and hiccups were there? Was it as smooth as you hoped? Those kinds of things.
Thanks, Matt. I would say that the path was clear from the start because we took the right amount of time to be prepared, to understand where we stood, to understand what our needs were here at KU. And because of the unique timing that has been well documented, we were really able to go out and conduct as diligent and thorough a search as I think has been done in college football, to be honest with you. And you can overcomplicate these things. Sometimes it's just hard work. And I think I highlighted our committee that was alongside me through this journey. We worked really hard. And we probably, at times, tortured Lance as we, as we continued to dig in and circle back. Multiple Zoom sessions, obviously timed together in person, but it was just so important to not just talk about where we were and where we wanted to go, but to see it and to feel it coming to fruition. And that's what we were able to do over the course of those couple weeks.
Great. Thank you both.
For Lance, I was wondering, did you this weekend get to speak with some of the current assistants? And I was also just hoping wondering if you could share kind of your thinking on the possibility of retaining some of the coaches that have been here.
Yes, excuse me. I spent all day yesterday meeting with most of the staff at this time. We're still in the process. I had some great conversations. There's some outstanding men and coaches. And those aren't always easy conversations, and we're looking at getting things put together, and I think that's going to come together here really, really quickly. And yes, is there going to be opportunities and things like that? Yes. And again, same thing with the players. This situation is unique that it wasn't based on field, and we're going to continue to work what's best for the. I want to make sure, let me back up on one thing. I'm sorry. As I met with everyone, as we put this staff together, I want to make sure we know this isn't for one season. We are going to put together a staff for the future, back to the word about continuity and consistency. So as we look at putting our staff together, it's not just to get us through season one. That happens sometimes in college football. Part of the success is having consistency in the room and day in and day out for our student athletes. So as I evaluate the situation, that's going to be first and foremost, is fit holistically.
Hey guys, Sam Ellinger again. One for Travis, and maybe some of this is expanding on Tate's question, but can you describe, now that the process is complete, like where was the process when you got hired? And it seems like, tell me if I'm wrong, but it seems like some of the stuff you said, you saw your role as sort of bringing people along, like sort of consensus building in that. Tell me if I'm right on that, and just how did you see that process?
Well, I think where it was when I got here was that I arrived at a university committed to getting football right and committed to building it in the right way. And that's all I could hope for. That's what I felt in my interview process with Chancellor Girard and that incredible committee. And sure enough, that was reaffirmed the second I got here. And so I think that just gave us such great momentum launching out into the search. There were no truly preconceived notions about where we were going to go. I didn't arrive with a pool of candidates sitting on my desk. We had a great search partner on this, but they don't direct us on who to talk to and who the right fit is. That's the University of Kansas's decision to determine, and our committee and all the intel that we were able to gather before we launched helped us determine what the right fit is for the University of Kansas. So that was kind of the process. Came in a great place, and then kind of wide-eyed going into the search and able to sift through at the right pace and to do a lot of research over those couple of weeks And so I really describe it as an ideal of a search process as you could have, and probably very different than what it would look like in December.
And am I reading you right that you were wanting to be more inclusive, bring people along in the process as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think it starts on your own campus. You want to make sure you have alignment and vision on that. And then, of course, we needed to learn. I didn't, even though I'm an alum, I don't understand all the ins and outs. I've been away for 17 years, so why are we where we're at, and what do we need to move forward? I needed to lean on and rely on a lot of people to guide me. That's former letter winners. That's some of our great supporters, right? That's the incredible staff in Kansas athletics. And all of that information helped guide us as we launched out. So absolutely, inclusivity, multiple voices, multiple perspectives, and I think that, without a question, helped guide us to the right outcome.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Max Blend with University Day, Kansas. Mr. Goff, the past couple coaching hires have been, for lack of a better word, underwhelming. What would you say to Jayhawk fans to show that this one's different?
Well, I think Lance said it really well, which is we're not in the rear view. We're all about what's out in front of us in the much larger windshield, right? If you do a silly analogy in comparison. And so we're really focused on what's in front of us. And all I can say to our Jayhawk fans, our Jayhawk faithful, is we've got the right guy. There's just no question, and that's based on who he is as a man, and that's based on an incredibly well-built, proven track record of success and program building, and care for the young men that he leads, which has been well documented every step of the way. The second part of what I would say to our support base and to our fans is get on board with us, okay? Because to build this thing in the right manner, you talk about sustained success, program building, it isn't one man that gets that done. It isn't an administration with a head coach or a staff that gets that done. It's an entire university community, and our supporters, our season ticket holders, our fans, our alumni across the country and across the world will be critical in helping us chart that path forward.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach. Maya Peterson of Playmakers KU. Knowing the impact you had on the Buffalo program and the revamp that took place to take a 4-7 team to a bowl-winning 5-0 team, what similarities do you see between this Kansas football team and your first team at Buffalo?
Well, that'll be a little bit, maybe if you ask me in August, I'll have a little better answer on that one, because I haven't really had a chance to dive in and to really know the inner workings of that. And making predictions and that without having a chance to really interact is kind of a little difficult right now. But I just look at it again as everything I've heard and been able to take first glimpses at is that there's a lot of young talent on this football team. And when you have some young talent that are hungry to work and passionate about turning around a program, that want to be coachable, that want to get better, and want to get things turned around, we have a great opportunity, and we will get that done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is for Travis. Travis, Greg Eklund, this is for the Kansas News Service. In the contract that was posted on the KU Athletics site, there's a phrase in there regarding prior contract. And I know you haven't been involved in hiring football coaches before, but is that a phrase that you use commonly when you deal with coaching contracts?
Did you say regarding?
Yeah, representations and warranties regarding prior conduct.
Oh, conduct. Thank you. That better clarifies.
Yeah, did I say it wrong?
That's okay. I got you. I think it's what the University of Kansas is about, and I think that's going to be a hallmark for us going forward. And not to say that it hasn't been. I think that's always what KU has been about, is integrity, is character. You're asking a paid professional, incredible head football coach to lead our students forward, to lead our student athletes, to develop them, not just with what occurs in this practice field and on the field out there, but to do so in the classroom, in the community, and then most importantly, life after KU. And so understanding the importance, the kind of cornerstone that character and integrity means in finding the right fit, that's what that references. same kind of language in my contract, and frankly should be something that's probably done across the country and certainly in college athletics. And again, I just reiterate, that's exactly who Lance Leipold is.
So you've used that phrase in previous contracts that you've dealt with?
I don't know that I can say that. I think it's becoming a more standard way to go about that.
Thank you.
Hey, Lance. Scott Chasen with 24/7 Sports. You've spoken a lot about continuity. I'm not sure I've ever heard a coach talk more about assistant continuity, especially at an opening press conference. I'm curious, where did that philosophy come from? When did you kind of discover how important that was, and when did that become such a big, important part of your message?
Of staff continuity? are you
Yeah.
saying? Well, I guess just through experience. You know, when you think about it, you know, sometimes you're going to lose quality people around you. I'm very fortunate to be the head coach here, but I didn't get here by myself. Okay, there's a lot of people that have been impactful, and a lot of those have been with me along the way. But usually, as we say, this is a unique time for a coaching change and things like that. Well, the usual time is right after the season, and that's right in the middle of recruiting, and that's right in the middle of sometimes when guys are making decisions. So just like I said earlier about athletic director change, well, when that happens with assistant coaches, recruiting pauses with that person many times, and then you have to start over. Now, you may get it, but then there's either new. So when you have continuity, and then you think about when a new person enters the room offensively or defensively, well, you have to take time to teach it to them. You would be working, if the same people are in the room, you have a chance to keep working on something new to get better and not going back and reintroducing somebody to it. And then they know you, and you can kind of just keep building. And that's why I think it's very important, and I think anyone across the country, when you see programs today, there's very few that have been able to maybe keep coaches as fortunate as we did along the way, and we'll see where things kind of move from here.
And then on the topic of recruiting, how important for you and for this program is local recruiting, not only the state, but maybe some of the bordering areas?
Extremely important. It needs to be, our foundation and become the backbone of what we are locally for many different reasons. A chance for, the closer the players, the more often they can get here, the more often you have chances to build, that early relationship and trust. It creates buzz around the area for support, interaction and access with high school coaches for them to come here when things open up. There's so many pluses to that, and you see programs probably many times, it can be anywhere across the country, but some of the programs in the Midwest, when you've seen what they do, and they play a certain brand of football that is physical, tough, disciplined football, it's usually a lot of that core people are right there in the backyard, and we plan to do that as well.
Thank you.
Coach, I talked to some guys from Buffalo who covered your first press conference, and they said that the big storyline was, would you be able to make the adjustment, the jump to a higher level? Sure, you'd been successful at the lower level, but would you be able to do it? What was it like making that jump? Clearly you did it, and do you think that'll help you as you make the jump to the Power 5?
Absolutely. I think it does. There was a lot to that, and again, when you coach at lower levels, and any new job, there's new things and new ways to doing it, policies, procedures, but when it comes to staff, there's still core things that it is expectations and direction, and how you're going to go about it. One of the biggest things, people are going to talk about recruiting, and they're going to talk about really the amount of people in a Power 5 conference and your staff. And there's a lot of things to that, and leadership becomes extremely important for consistent expectations and, one voice many times. And I think that was probably one of the things that, in the early days there was different, and maybe not understanding everything that when you're a lower level coach, but definitely those years in Buffalo and what we went through and how we built it in different ways is going to help me through this right now. Thank you.